It is 25 degrees outside, but it is the most exciting time for a lot of gardeners because we are doing some seeds here. I'm at Green Door Gourmet out in West Nashville. Why don't you tell me a little bit about kind of your process?
We fill the 72 cell flat with potting mix and then put some holes in there, and we're planting leek seeds. King Richard leeks.
Leek seeds, okay. And these take a really long time, right? Leeks?
They do, yeah. We're doing onions and leeks this week because they take so long to germinate, and we want to get a good head start on those. Pretty soon we're going to be starting lettuces, broccolis, kale,
Cool.
all sorts of other vegetables.
Yeah, a lot of the early kind of spring, late winter stuff.
Definitely.
Yeah. So when do y'all start tomatoes and pepper plants?
Around mid-March. It's a little bit too cold to start them right now.
And I guess you do probably several successions of those too, since they grow so fast.
We do, yeah. We do succession planting of a lot of different things. So we'll do succession tomato plantings. We'll also do successions with some of our leafy greens, just to make sure that as we're harvesting throughout the year, we have availability for all of our different restaurants and local box members. And we'll be direct sowing beets, corn, okra.
Yeah, their root system just grows so fast you don't even bother putting them in, I guess the cell tray.
Definitely, and some of those, they're delicate to transplant, or they really benefit from being seeded in quantity out in the field, so it's much more convenient for us.
And on this mass scale, is there any way that you deal with fungus and bacteria getting in the seedlings? Is there anything that you do to help prevent that?
Yeah, so we're very careful to water the appropriate amount, I guess, because if you water too much, you sometimes will experience algae growth.
Okay.
Or other pests will come in, and you want to try and keep the soil about like a moist sponge. So if you were to grab a handful of soil and you were to squeeze it and water came out, that would be too wet. Or if you were to feel the soil and it was completely dry, that would be too dry. So we want to keep it somewhere in between.
With the seeds that you're doing, what's the kind of temperature ranges that we're working in here?
Some of these earlier seedlings that we're starting, the winter crops, the leafy greens, we're going to be trying to hold the greenhouse between 75 and 85 degrees to get those seeds to germinate. They like a soil temperature in that range. And then when we move into the later season and summer crops, we're going to try and get the greenhouse a little bit hotter, maybe 85, 90 degrees while they germinate, and then we'll take them outside and harden them off and then put them in the fields.
One thing I noticed that's also very important as far as seeds goes is your soil quality. It's really nice and it's a good mixture. It's got a lot of grit in it.
Definitely.
Can you show me a little bit more about that in your potting shed over there?
Absolutely, yeah.
Great,
Absolutely.
Thanks. So this is some of the prettiest soil I think I've ever seen.
This is actually a new potting soil that we're trying this year, and so far we've been really, really happy with it. It's pre-ground, and that means that it doesn't clump quite like the soil we were using last year. So we have really good drainage, but we also have really good water retention in the soil. So we can hold that sort of wrung out sponge moisture level and make sure our seeds germinate really well.
Yeah, and I see a lot of different things in here too that, there's some rocks in here that are helping with drainage. A lot of the soils that, the home gardener is going to get at home is pretty much straight peat moss.
Definitely, definitely. Yeah, and we have this in our store for sale, and then this potting soil also meets USDA organic standards because we are an organic farm.
So what are some kind of tips and tricks that people can use at home on a smaller scale?
Yeah, so having a good potting soil is key. Keeping those seedlings moist but not too moist. Having a strong availability of light, so making sure that those plants are having a good 12 hours of light every day, and if that means using an alternative light source, a growing light, that helps. Keeping the seedling soil at the right temperature, and then also very, very important is keeping things very clean and sanitary. So we use these new trays every year, but if you are going to reuse trays, you need to make sure they're very, very clean. And we follow, here at Green Door, we follow the USDA organic standards for what solutions to use when we're cleaning the greenhouse and our trays and things if we do end up needing to reuse them. But typically we'll buy new trays just to make sure that everything goes smoothly because we are planting on scale.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much.
You're very welcome.
I'm looking forward to coming back out and seeing all these seedlings in the fields and everything growing this summer. I can already smell them.
Definitely.
So, thanks so much.
Thank you.
For inspiring garden tours, growing tips, and garden projects, visit our website at volunteergardener.org or on YouTube at the Volunteer Gardener channel, and like us on Facebook.